I'm Dr. Bobby Huynh, and let's queer up the USA view. Fox News poll finds voters prefer Democrats on trans issues. Conducted by phone between April 17th and 20th, the Fox News survey found that 56% of respondents believe Democrats will handle trans issues better, compared to 43% who favor Republicans. The 13-point gap spans multiple demographics, including the majorities of men, women, white, Black and Hispanic voters, as well as independents, urban and suburban residents, and both college-educated and non-college educated groups. However, Republicans, conservative, rural, and evangelical voters, along with supporters of Donald Trump, prefer the GOP to handle this issue by margins of 65 to 78%. Notably, fewer than 1% of respondents identify wokeness or trans issues as the country's most pressing concern. Instead, most of the voters cited inflation and cost of living, followed by jobs, political corruption, and the Iran war as top priorities. Trans journalist Erin Reed shared her analysis of the poll's results, saying, quote, "The administration can continue to target trans people through executive orders, FCC actions, and federal declarations. But as these numbers show, they do so without the American public's support." End quote. The poll also found that 58% of all respondents disapprove of the job Trump is doing as president. It shows that 58% of respondents have an unfavorable view of both the Republican and Democratic parties, as well as immigration and customs enforcement. Well, first of all, 58% is still too low for any kind of support for trans rights, and obviously they are counting on that. They're also counting on the fact that because it is not a bread and butter issue, because less than 1% consider it a priority, people will continue to ignore it in favor, even if the person running for election is blatantly transphobic. They are hoping that voters is going to, okay, they are still oppressing trans people, but they are going to promise to fix bread and butter issues like the economy or jobs or inflation, and so they're going to blatantly overlook. I mean, it's the same way with LGBTQ rights throughout election cycles and different and every time people who are like, oh yeah, casually say, oh yeah, I support gay people, I support gay marriage, they'll vote Republican anyway just because that's Republicans promise lower taxes or $3 gas.
Yeah, I think we need to make those issues though a big priority. Mm-hmm. The reason why I say that is tell me any presidential or political candidate in the history of politics that hasn't said, we're going to make this United States better. We're going to get your paychecks better. We're going to, make wages better. We're going to make housing better. It's the same points all the time. And we're still in the same position as we have. There's always going to be something, economically that someone's not going to like. There's always going to be some sort of inflation or farming, or there's always those, and it's the same points all the time. So we actually do need to start making trans rights and gay rights and those types of things top billing. We need to bring those up more at the town halls and when the candidates are out there speaking why you should vote for me. I think that usually the public doesn't react that way unless it is something very notable. For example, when Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022, that becomes a wave of citizens' initiatives and constitutional amendments to enshrine abortion rights into state constitutions. Now but it's the equivalent of lighting the fire under the general public's ass. Yeah. Right, but we need to bring this up to the general public is what I'm saying.
I hear you, Rick, but we've been putting social issues front and foremost in our politics since the 1980s. We have been doing the culture war thing for decades. That being said, you're looking at Fox their polls are not considered where you go to learn about the lefties of the world, and to see a 58% disapproval rating, that's wonderful because let's be frank, Trump's approval rating has nowhere to go but down with the way he's handled this country. Agreed. It is an absolute tragedy. On the trans issue, This is a very important poll because I've seen so many Democrats be complete pieces of shit, quite frankly, towards trans people, being like, we can't win if we defend people. We can't. I'm like, even the Fox News polling is telling you that people don't want these horrible things being done to trans people. There is no reason to be shy of this and say, listen, I don't want to hurt trans kids. I don't support trans murders. I want to be a decent human being. It's a winning platform is what this poll says.
Agreed.
And what a shame. We have the midterm elections, and this is the 250th anniversary of the founding, our country being the United States of America. And I really feel our administration is doing everything possible to tear away that fabric, and they're not promoting unity, and especially attacking, a population to divert what's really going on behind the scenes.
The trans population is not the problem, and also divide and conquer is the problem. I mean, when currently there's a Department of Education driven education tour, but it was all based on right-wing talking points. It's basically Christian nationalism wrapped up in a flag and presented as fact.
Oh, no, I hear about, and to get a little bit more like ways to maybe put queer issues forward, like the trans community did not start the Iran war. The trans community is not raising your gas. The trans community is not murdering people. That's ICE that's murdering people. Like, those are ways that we should be thinking about these issues.
Absolutely.
These ways, trying to use queer people and minorities and non-citizens as a scapegoat is the thing that Trump tries to do to gain more power and to just enrich himself and his friends. And quite frankly, I'm not even sure if it's helping his friends get rich anymore with this Iran war. It hurts everybody. It's insanity in free fall.
If you have heard, apparently today, Saudi Arabia is thinking about backing away from that golfing, Live or whatever, which is another heavily Trump amplified commercial venture. Sure, he is. Sure, I'm sure he's not profiting from it.
If Trump can't even get the backing of the Saudis at this point, my God,
well,
what's left?
UAE just dropped out of OPEC. Well, that's another big one.
Yes, of course.
I mean, sorry, my international relations brain goes back to international events.
We're watching the collapse of American power in real time. I think that's probably for the best for the world, but it's not the best for America. And just to see this has been insane. But it's great to see Fox for once show that even Fox is showing that you can't continue to support anti-trans policies and a presidency of insanity.
Well, there is no other queer nonprofit's new platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.